Okay, 8th grade algebra. This is Mr. Gens again. We want to try to practice what we were doing the past couple days. So you have some notes in front of you. It says write the equation of the line in point slope form. This is what you want to start to get kind of memorized in your brain is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. So we have every line has a slope. Every line passes through a couple points. This is the slope, and this is the point on the line. We're going to call it x1 and y1. x1 and y1. So we put the x1 where the x1 is, the y1 where the y1 is. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So as I rewrite that, y minus y1 is 5 equals m is negative 2. And x minus a negative 3, I could write as x plus 3. So that's the equation. And if you could do that, you could get that problem right on your test. Okay? So that's a really good start right there. Second one, y minus negative 8 or plus 8. So we have x1 and y1 equals negative 4 over 7 times x minus 3. That should be that form. So these two, you want to feel really good about those two. Those are ones where we want everybody to be able to get those points, okay? We want everybody to be able to get those points. Now we're going to switch it around. Now you have the equations, and you're going to identify the slope and the point on the line. Well, you remember that for y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, the slope sits right there. You can see here that the slope sits right in front. So it's 4. For the point, it's the x value being subtracted, which is 2. And it's the y value being subtracted, 3. Here we have the slope being 1/3. The x value being subtracted is 6. What's the y value being subtracted? What do you guys think? Is it positive 4 or negative 4? If you said negative 4, you're right, because it's y minus a negative 4. That's what y plus 4 is. So we're subtracting a negative 4. You want these to be excellent problems. You want these to be ones that you feel like you can get those all the time. Okay? Because those are foundational to be able to do what we want to do next. And that is this step. Given a point and slope, write an equation in point-slope form. Then place the equation from point-slope form into slope-intercept form. And that's our goal for today. Okay? So you can see we have a point. You can see we have a slope. So I will write y minus 4 equals negative 1/2 times x minus 2. Now, yesterday, you guys placed this in a slope-intercept form as well. And what you did is you distributed that negative 1/2 to both these pieces. But the problem is negative 1/2 is a fraction, and I know that most of you guys really don't like fractions. So we're going to make that fraction go away. And we're going to make it go away by multiplying by something. And we multiply it by the denominator. We multiply it by 2. Everything by 2. And look at what happens. When you multiply it by 2, we'll take this step by step. 2 times y is 2y. 2 times 4 is 8. And then if we multiply this front number by 2, that takes care of everything over on this side because it's written as a factored form. 2 times negative 1/2. Let's figure that out. 2 over 1 times negative 1/2. I multiply the top and I get negative 2. Multiply the bottom, I get positive 2. So that will be a negative 1. So I have a negative 1 in front there times x minus 2. Well, hey, that works out really good. Now instead of a fraction in front, now I have an integer. So let's distribute that and then solve for my y value. So we have 2y minus 8 equals negative x plus 2. Solve for y. Add 8 to both sides. 2y equals negative x plus 10. Finally, divide by 2, and we get y equals, what's the number in front of x? It's a negative 1 over 2 times x plus 5. This is slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 1 half x plus 5. And one of the nice things with the slope-intercept form is we can identify the slope, which is negative 1 half. You can identify the y-intercept, which is 5. And the last step you're then going to do is to graph it. So we go up 5 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we do negative 1 over 2. And so that's a rise of negative 1 or down 1 and a run of 2. Down 1, run 2, down 1, run 2. And that will give us our graph. Now, what's great about this example is just like the problems you're going to do in your assignment. Also, you're going to have this type of a problem on your test. You have a part of your review guide. So we've really kind of got two things we're focusing on right now. This first part, which is identifying the slope and the point and writing the equation. And we got this second part, which is turning into slope-intercept form. And some of you might say, wow, that took a long time, Mr. Gens. That looks really challenging. It is at first, but with practice, we're going to get better at it. So I'm going to take you through 2 more examples. And after these 2 examples, you're then going to be able to start your assignment. Okay? And so we start with the point slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is x1, this is y1, and we go to work. Y minus 1 equals 3 over 4 times x minus 4. And there we have it. That's our equation in point-slope form. Now that we have that, let's turn it into slope-intercept form. Instead of distributing this 3/4 through right now, because it's a fraction, and I know how much you guys don't like fractions sometimes, let's get rid of the fraction. Let's multiply through by the denominator, which is 4. Four times y is 4y. 4 times 1, negative 4. I'm sorry, 4 times negative 1, negative 4. We got 4 times 3 is 12. Divided by 4 is 3. Okay, that's how you multiply that. That's 4 over 1 times 3 over 4. Or 12 over 4, which is 3. Times x minus 4. Okay. You might be wondering why you don't multiply it all the way through to this part. We're going to do that. We're going to do that with the 3 eventually. So we don't want to do it twice. Okay. All right. Let's distribute 3 times x and 3 times 4. So 4y minus 4 equals 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 4 is 12. Solve for y. We're going to add the 4 to both sides. We get 4y is equal to 3x minus 8. Divide by 4. Y equals 3 over 4x minus 2. So that's the slope-intercept form. Y equals 3 over 4x minus 2. Okay? That's what I've got for slope-intercept form. So the slope is 3/4, and the y-intercept is negative 2. I'm going to graph it. Go down 2. And now I need to use my slope. What's my rise? 3. What's my run? 4. So I rise 3. And I run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know the grid's not showing up very well on my smartboard. I'm sorry about that, but we'll just do our best to sketch the graph. That's a pretty good idea of what that graph looks like. Okay. All right. Hopefully that example went a little bit better. For this very final example, I'm going to pause for a little bit longer period of time in between each one to really give you a chance to answer the questions as I'm thinking